How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the video. Thank you guys for tuning in to talk about movies with me. I really appreciate that. And if you guys can just do me a quick favor, if you can like the video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out the channel a lot. And make sure you turn on post notifications too, so you don't miss a video. I'm going to be cranking out new videos every single week, so just stay tuned for that. Thor: Love and Thunder is pretty controversial right now, and yeah, I understand why. So without further ado, let's talk about Thor: Love and Thunder. And honestly, the problems with this movie starts in the beginning. In the beginning of the movie, we see Gorr and his daughter struggling to survive in a desert. He ends up having to bury his own child, which for anybody would be really heartbreaking to do. Gorr turns to religion and he prays to his god for some help. Gorr goes on a journey and ends up in an oasis, kind of like a haven in a jungle, where he eventually meets his god. That's so loud. That's so loud for no reason. This is where you can really tell that the switch of tones starts to occur. It really feels like two different movies directed by two different directors. Now the Gorr stuff, everything with Gorr seems straight out of like Infinity War. It's almost like they handled it's almost kind of like how they handled Thanos' story. You really feel for the character, and the character shows you why you should feel for him. But right after all of this, we cut straight to the god, and it again feels like two different movies. The god's funny, he's cracking jokes, he seems a little more lighthearted. And then you turn to Christian Bale, who's acting his ass off, and it's like a completely different movie. It's also like this throughout the rest of the movie, and honestly, it's kind of the most disappointing aspect of the movie is how they handled Gorr's storyline. It feels like they didn't take it seriously enough, and I just feel like that's a theme throughout the entire movie, not taking things seriously enough. He's called Gorr the God Butcher, yet we only see him kill one god, and that's in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And even at that, we see him kill that one god, but it doesn't seem super impactful. All these other killings are kind of just shown through like a distress signal. The Guardians of the Galaxy are there, and they're there for like 5 minutes and then they disappear. Literally how we find out about Gorr, how Thor finds out about Gorr, is looking on a video board and seeing people say, hey, Gorr is killing gods. To me, that just feels like a very rushed and almost a lazy way of depicting this character. If I'm being honest, that's just my opinion. It feels like we spend no time with Gorr for the entire movie. We don't get any time to relate to him or kind of see him develop. Everything we know about Gorr is told to us from the movie. We don't really see it, and that's screenwriting issue number one. Yet, somehow, I say all of this, but somehow, even if it feels that Gorr is underutilized, the thing that saves it for me is Christian Bale's performance. Christian Bale does an excellent job at portraying him. He's smart, he's creepy, he's scary, he's a really good fighter, and you really understand what he's going through towards the end of the movie, not because of the writing for him, but because of Christian Bale's performance. All right, let's talk about the Thors. Both Mighty Thor and regular Thor, I mean, they're good. They're really good. Thor is really good. Mighty Thor is really good. Valkyrie is really good. Korg is really good. They're all really good. It's just, it boils down to what they're given. I can sit here and talk about how good Thor, Chris Hemsworth is as Thor. I can talk about how good it feels to have Natalie Portman back on the screen as Jane. That felt really good, and she was really good in this movie. They're all really good. One thing that is not really good, in my opinion, is the script. I think that the script is kind of bland almost. Some jokes hit, they do. With the right audience, the jokes are funny, and with the wrong audience, the jokes literally feel like satire almost. Who knows? Maybe that's what Taika was going for. I honestly cannot tell if Taika Waititi was writing this as like supposed to be a little corny, or if it's genuinely just a bad script. My thing is the dialogue. Some of the dialogue is just like, why does that seem so wooden, and why does that seem so like bland? I feel like there were better ways to explain certain things in the movie, and they just weren't. I talked about it earlier, but the way that they introduced Gorr to Thor was through a video board, and they were watching videos of like people dying and stuff. It just felt lazy. It came off lazy. Obviously, I'm not a big time movie writer, so I have no idea how hard it is to write a movie. But you know, Taika Waititi, he did his best, and I definitely will say the direction is better than the writing for sure. I think that if anybody else was directing this script, it would have been terrible. But I don't think that of this movie. I actually think this movie is really enjoyable to watch. I'm a kind of person who can find enjoyability and rewatchability in a lot of movies. I'm someone who still watches like The Last Airbender, the M. Night Shyamalan one, just because of how mad it makes me. So I do find some enjoyability in quote unquote bad movies, but I don't really think this movie's bad. I just don't think it's great. And that's really upsetting because I thought that this could have been the best Thor movie of all time. We have we have 4 Thor movies so far. And I think this one, with the story, with all the story elements and all the themes that it had, it definitely should have been the best one. You got Jane dealing with cancer. You have Thor dealing with his love for Jane and not seeing her for so long. You got Gore and his religious beliefs. And even talking about the MCU, we have huge repercussions for what Gore is doing. He's killing gods. He's literally killing gods. I mean, we don't see that in the movie, but the theme and the story there is that Gore doesn't believe that one man should have all that power, aka Kanye West. I just think that the thing that let me down here was Taika's writing, and Taika is a brilliant writer. I love Jojo Rabbit. That is probably one of the greatest comedy dramas I've ever seen. This is what Thor: Love and Thunder should have been, a comedy drama, because you have these very big subjects and these themes that are really serious. And it's okay to sprinkle some comedy through them, but it should not. Again, it's really hard to talk about this because I didn't make the movie, but I feel like it should have been at least a little more serious, to talk about cancer and, you know, religion and killing people. From watching the movie, I definitely can see the seeds of these themes throughout the movie, but it's just riddled with a lot of jokes, and they kind of undermine the central story points of the movie. Again, I will say this, the movie still is very enjoyable to me, and of course, as a fan of Marvel, I'm pleased with my experience watching this, and as a fan of filmmaking, you can definitely tell that a lot went wrong with this one. The cinematography was gorgeous at points. The performances, obviously, I said that I liked them a lot. The soundtrack was one of the best parts of the movie. I really did enjoy the soundtrack. It kind of brought that 80s feel to you. And then the visual effects were actually really spot on. I don't think it's really bad. I also don't think it's really great either. I think it's just good. It's fine. It's whatever. That kind of sums up Phase 4 a little bit. I will make a video on Phase 4, though, because I have a lot to say about that with you guys and with a lot of the Marvel fans. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, guys, that's my review on Thor: Love and Thunder. I watched it twice already. How many times did you guys watch it? What did you guys think of it? Let me know down below in the comments section. I'm still reviewing all of the MCU movies. I got the Incredible Hulk next coming out, so stay tuned for that also. If you guys like what you see, make sure you guys click subscribe down below. It really helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate that. If you guys can just like, comment, do all the YouTube stuff for me, it really helped the channel out a lot. Thank you guys so much for spending some time to talk about movies with me. I really appreciate that, and I will catch you guys in the next video.